All right, we're back again with another messy desk. Now, this was a topic that I thought should be talked about, especially if you're a beginner and you feel like you're missing out on certain jobs because you don't have certain gear. And I can understand how your mindset feels that way, but that's not the truth. In fact, I feel like having a lot of equipment can be a bad thing for you, especially if you are a solopreneur or if you're just a one-man band, you're by yourself, you don't have a team or a reason to accumulate, 10 cameras, 20 lenses, 6 gimbals, and Aputures on a pear tree. Like, you just have no reason for all that stuff. Now, I'm gonna give you my take on it because I was one of those people who had my favorite creators and they were always advertising the newest, the best, the shiniest things. And because that they had it, I wanted it myself. And then I just started to find that I was selling equipment that I only used once or twice, or I would buy stuff that would just sit around, or after I used the equipment, it just wasn't as amazing as I thought it was going to be compared to this person who was in the industry for 10 years and they showed me how they would use it, slapped on their LUTs, and it just looked amazing, right? For the average person who is just learning, or you might not have the LUTs or the color grading skills or the editing skills or just the know-how on how to make gear work for you, you're gonna always feel the pressure of buying the new thing. So 4 main reasons that I personally think that buying too much gear is bad for you is 1, the financial burden. Always buying the newest thing is going to have a strain on your finances, especially if you don't have a lot of clients yet, which most likely is the case if you're starting. The second, I think, is your increased mobility and flexibility. Like, when you have a lot of gear, you're only one person. You can only use one camera at a time, one lens at a time. And depending on the workflow that you have or the clientele that you get, you're going to need to be mobile, flexible, and learning a bunch of things at one time is just going to spread you too thin. So being flexible and being mobile is like key to growing your business out of the gate. And that actually goes into my next point, which is the complexity of everything. Like, there's already so much learning curve that comes along with buying new equipment. So when you have a lot of it and you're not really getting the clientele to practice, you're kind of stretching yourself out, having to learn to use 5 or 6 things all at once. And not only are you trying to do a good job, but you're trying to utilize everything in the correct way. And I remember doing this myself, having new lighting equipment and cameras at the same time, and I didn't know how to set up lighting yet. That's when I had my first panic attack because I'm on the clock. I have people watching me and waiting for me to set up, and I'm just kind of stumbling over myself. At one point, the lights weren't cutting on, and I didn't know what the problem was. And mind you, I'm doing all of this stuff by myself. Now I can do it no problem, but in the beginning, I'd wish that I would have just focused on just having a couple of things so that I can manage my focus on my client and their vision versus trying to make this small production look like this huge production. And not to mention one of the wackest things that can happen to you, which is you can get your stuff stolen if you're just carrying around, lugging around all this gear all the time. So on the reversal side, what I think could actually help you manage and buy things that you actually need and not feel overwhelmed or pressured into the consumerism of our industry is 1, really evaluate what you need. If you're just starting out, chances are you really don't need to buy everything. You need to buy 1 camera, 1 lens, maybe 2, so you have a variety of focal lengths, and really learn your camera, really learn your lenses. There's so much to learn already, and chances are your focus is going to be on driving in clientele and impressing them to a point to where they talk about you and you can continue that momentum. And you can do all of that without a busload of equipment on each job. The second is niche down. Now, I know you can probably hear this on multiple accounts, but niching down will really allow you to buy the equipment that you need versus the stuff you think you need. Because most times there are specific equipment for specific industries and specific looks. And if you don't niche down, your target audience is going to continually move. And that means the equipment that you buy is going to be constantly flowing in, because you'll possibly see something. Let's say you're scrolling on Instagram, you see a nice portrait and you're like, dang, I want that light to make that look. I want that lens to make that look. So you buy that stuff and then you never get the clients to book for that type of job. So then you move on to another job. You scroll, you see your favorite creator post something. You're like, dang, I like that look. I want to do something underwater. So you buy a housing for underwater photography and you don't have a model that wants to shoot underwater. But if you niche down, You not only learn your audience's needs, but you learn what you need for that audience. Another important one that will help you kind of alleviate buying a bunch of stuff is renting or borrowing. There's a lot of sites that you can utilize that can help you. There are a lot of sites out there that can help you utilize renting. There are a lot of sites out there that can help you rent equipment. I use ShareGrid. I actually rent out some of my gear on there. And it just kind of helps you see if this is a piece of gear that you actually want to buy, if it'll be useful for multiple jobs in the future and not just one. You don't want to just buy up stuff for passion projects. You don't want to buy stuff so you go to the park, test it out, and then you never use it again. So it might be helpful if you have a passion project or if you just want to take a couple of pictures or a couple of videos to just rent it. And the last one is invest in versatile gear. Now, I love prime lenses. Prime lenses are actually one of my favorite things to shoot on. I'm filming on a 50 millimeter right now, and I love the look. But versatile gear will actually help you spread out how much you're actually putting in your bag. Because I know I could put my 24-70 in my bag and be good for an entire day versus putting in my 24 millimeter, my 35, my 50, and my 85. One lens to me took over the job of 4 lenses. So now I know that I can get the range that I want, regardless if I have the aperture change. The aperture shift is really not worth how much I'm putting into my bag. Versatility actually helps me stay more focused because even when I went on a trip to New York, I brought 4 lenses with me. And it was overwhelming for me to think about how many lenses I wanted to take outside and just take a couple pictures. And I actually truly believe when you limit your options, you are forced to use your creativity to lack. And I also believe when you have a limited amount of equipment, you are forced to use your creativity more often. And to be honest, I feel like the only way buying a bunch of stuff is really helpful is when you have a team. That is the only time where I had multiple cameras and it actually helped because I had cameras to hand people, I had lenses to pass on, and it makes my job easier when I know I don't have to rent certain things in order to work with 4 or 5 people at one time. Every other time, I'm only one person. I can only use 1 camera at a time. So if you know that's you, focus on just buying the things you need. Go down the list and see what your niche is and expand on that. I guarantee you your business will flourish and you won't feel like you're missing out. Now, you'll never see that from this channel. I'll never be a person that is going to force, cameras and lenses and all the newest stuff upon you. Even though I do like shiny things, I don't need to buy all the shiny things. Now, to wrap up this video, if you're new to the videography or photography industry and you've been looking into, cameras and lenses and you start to feel overwhelmed that you might need a whole lot, I hope that this helps you realize that you don't. There are some ways to help guide your decision making before you buy something and give you clarity that if you do have a bunch of stuff, it does not necessarily make you better than somebody who doesn't. Because guarantee you, as somebody who... Hush! Oh God, hold on. Man, I was gonna finish with an amazing point. Jesus, man, I don't even know where I was going with that. All right, if you're a new... Oh, so good, I was flowing. If you're a new creative and you are just trying to find your way, I hope this video helped you. Please subscribe, like, comment down below any new topic that you guys want me to cover. It really does help out. Share this video with a friend if you think it will be useful, and I'll see you in the next one.